President of the Korea Society Tam Ban, Chairman of the Board Catherine Stevens, members, ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. I'm Enna Park, Ambassador for International Relations of Busan. The French philosopher Jean de la Bruyere said, "Time makes friendship stronger." This is certainly true of our 70-year friendship. From its beginnings in 1957, when it was founded by General James A. Van Fleet, the Korea Society has worked tirelessly to promote understanding, cooperation, and good relations between our two countries. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deepest respect and gratitude to the Korea Society for all your contributions and for your friendship over the years. Thank you also for giving me this chance today to introduce our plans for the World Expo 2030 Busan, Korea. Busan is a candidate city to host 2030 Expo. The World Expo is called the Economic and Cultural Olympics, as it served as an occasion to provide solutions to the challenges facing humanity and a vision for the future. We are passionate about hosting the event and confident of making it a success based on our expertise, experience, and solid support from the Korean government and public. As you know, we have already hosted the Summer and Winter Olympic Games, as well as the FIFA World Cup. We also hosted two specialized expos, Daejeon in 1993 and Yeosu in 2012. The success of these global events was possible due to the enthusiastic support of the Korean people. When it comes to uniting for a common goal, Koreans know how to band together. This time, we are united behind the goal of welcoming people to Busan for the World Expo 2030. Busan is my hometown. My parents are from Busan, and I was raised in the city. And I have seen firsthand its remarkable transformation over the years. I know the history and potential of this beautiful city, and I'm so excited to share its story with you. Let me begin with the UN Memorial Cemetery in Busan, the only UN cemetery in the world. You will undoubtedly know that the Korea Society founder, General James Van Fleet, served as commander of U.S. ground forces during much of the Korean War. His only son, who followed in his father's footsteps into the military, also served in the war as an Air Force pilot. Sadly, Captain James Van Fleet Jr. never returned from a night mission to Suncheon, North Korea in April 1952. The captain was one of some 40,000 brave soldiers who came to defend a foreign country and perished during the Korean War. Of them, 2,300 never made it back to their homes and are buried in the UN cemetery. Today, the Memorial Park is open to the public to pay their respects. The government also holds an annual ceremony there to honor those who made an ultimate sacrifice for the freedom of Korea, for the freedom of Korean people. The cemetery is a somber reminder of the war. In the midst of that tragedy, we were retreating from the front lines. Much of the landscape was in ruin, and resources were scarce. Those were desperate times. But then UN soldiers arrived at Busan's North Port. We also saw the arrival of relief goods, humanitarian items donated from countries around the world. We know the US, played a major role in leading such military and economic support, and we are very grateful. Thanks to such generosity, combined with the fierce will and determination of our people, Korea has made amazing progress over the past 70 years. GDP per capita has risen from $67 to over $30,000. Korea is ranked among the world's top 10 economies and has transformed from an aid recipient to a significant donor. Meanwhile, Busan has seen its population swell from 300,000 to 3.5 million. Today, Busan is Korea's second largest city and a Northern Asian gateway easily accessible by air, rail, and sea. It is home to the second largest transshipment and the seventh busiest container port in the world. It is a thriving global business hub. And even now, we remember the indispensable role played by the global community's solidarity and cooperation. Busan knows this better than any other city, as it was the starting point of Korea's opening and growth. Busan is a city of innovation. If you go back even further, Busan and the surrounding area have always been associated with innovation going back to the first century. In 1969, a major archaeological discovery was made in Busan area. Total of 191 tombs and 12,000 items were unearthed. The most surprising discovery was the large amount of iron armor. More than half of all vertical plate armor pieces found on the peninsula came from this one region. This shows that Busan area was the center of iron revolution in Korea in the first century. The production and use of iron powered area's development. Iron smelting allowed people to make weapons and agricultural tools. Iron was also used as a form of currency for exchanging goods. In this way, Busan became the foundation for advancing agriculture and social economy for the surrounding areas. If innovation can be defined as a series of events that transforms lives for the better, Korea's second innovation took place in the 15th century. It was 500 years before the official opening of Korea's port to the outside world in its modern era. In 1407, the very first office for trade and interactions with the foreign countries were opened in Busan. Although there were ups and downs over the following centuries, Busan remained the gateway to Korea. People from all places gathered in large markets, paving the way for the city to become a major commercial port. In the 20th century, the city was caught up in the throes of the Korean War. For 3 years, it dealt with wave after wave of refugees. Nearly 1 million people fled to Busan, which is more than 3 times its own population. There wasn't enough space for people to rest, much less food to eat. However, this sudden and forced expansion triggered another stage of innovation, which is factories. Until then, Korea was a typical agriculture-based society. However, the hunger and desperation of people from the war helped germinate the seeds of a different sort. Factories started to appear, and Korea's industrialization was underway. That becomes Busan's third innovation. At first, the factories produced the plywood, sugar, shoes, textiles, and other items needed for basic survival. But it was enough for Busan to take off as the country's industrial center. Global corporations like LG, Samsung, Dongyang Dongmyeon, and Kukje Group all were born during this period in Busan, starting out as a small business. The landscape changed again in the 1970s when the focus turned to the heavy chemical industry. Busan became the center of Southeast Industrial Belt, which now encompasses the 10 million strong megacity of Busan and Gyeongnam. This trajectory was fueled by persistent and consistent efforts to embrace challenges and innovations. They helped the transformation of a small plastic company into a petrochemical firm like LG, an agricultural goods food processing plant into a semiconductor maker like Samsung, and Busan into the bedrock of Korea's industrial development. We are now getting ready for the fourth innovation. It is time to turn the area into a hydrogen-based carbon-neutral green city. 40% of Korea's hydrogen manufacturing, storage, and transportation companies are currently based in our region. The Busan Gyeongnam megacity aims to be the production base and the mecca of the hydrogen-driven economy. Busan history was written by its people. So I'd like to turn your attention to the citizens who are responsible for such remarkable change and growth. To be honest, we Busanites are famous for being reticent and unexpressive. And if you know Koreans, you know that's saying a lot. We don't like to waste words when presenting someone with a very special gift, like jewelry for a girlfriend. A Busan man will say, 오다 주었는데 가지라. But some of you may understand the Busan dialects, which means, well, I found this on my way. You take it. But beneath this somewhat crusty exterior was a warm, open, and generous heart. I mentioned before that Busan served as a gateway and bridge for all types of people over the years due to our geographical location. We are at the endpoint of Eurasia and the starting point of the Pacific. That made Busan a point of entry and departure for merchants and delegates from Japan, Korean envoys heading to Japan, missionaries from the United States and Europe, and some 2.5 million overseas Koreans returning home after liberation from Japanese rule. Adding to that, million Korean refugees and Americans who came during the war. Each group brought their heritage, which spread out from our city. To this constant flow of diverse peoples, culture, and goods, Busan added its own flavor. From local dialects, foods, and practices to foreign culture, the city absorbed it all and created its own dynamic color. You might say Busan was and is a melting pot like New York. But citizens say this comparison is too small. We think the city and its people are more like the ocean, wide, deep, and accepting everything and everyone. Even today, we can find various streets with a strong Chinese presence, Japanese and Western style buildings, Korean temples and churches, and Islamic mosques, as well as people from the United States, Japan, China, Southeast Asia, Africa, and Europe, all living together. So, in this kind of environment, you will find Busanites who are strong and capable of doing anything they set their mind to. At the same time, people are highly adaptable to change and open to new things. It is their default mindset. This is what we call the Busan spirit, and it's why Busan is a buzz with dynamic energy. This energy, what we call 신바람 in Korean, makes the seemingly impossible possible. Just don't expect us to change the way we talk. The same energy powered innovations, drove Korea's growth into an advanced industrial nation, and helped strengthen our democracy. The Burma democratic protests of 1979 began in Busan and acted as a catalyst for the eventual fall down of the authoritarian regime. Nowadays, the energy fuels a different type of activity. From the famed Busan International Festival to the International Motor Show, Rock Festival, the world's largest game festival G-Star, and International Fireworks Festival, you will find the city celebrating something every day of the year. Part of the reason it's such a popular spot for festivals is because of its natural beauty. We have the ocean, rivers, and mountains. From the center of Busan, you can stroll to no fewer than 7 natural beaches. And if you hike up a mountain, you will be treated to a panoramic view of a coastline that stretches for 300 kilometers. Beautiful nature, cutting-edge innovation, the old and new, west and east, sea and land. This combination makes for a city that's one of a kind and endlessly exciting. It's time to meet Busan, city of wonder.
I've been walking in the street in a new city. I've come to experience what I haven't before. And I'm a little scared, 'cause it's so new to me. But to wander through the city makes me curious. It's time for change. It's time to play. It's time for change. It's time to. It's like a dream of this night, but it's real in my sight. I see real in the city of wonder. Up at the sky, riding high, above the bright, golden light. Come join us for a little like this. Magic in the air tonight. Everything what you dreamed in, the wonder of say. Everything what you dreamed in, the wonder of say. Hold me tight, we will light the city bright. Whoa, close your eyes, it's like a dream last night, but it's real in my sight. I see real in the city of wonder. Up at the sky, riding high, above the bright, golden light. Come join us for a little like this. Magic in the air tonight. Magic in the air tonight.
Well, I hope you enjoyed City of Wonder. It was pretty cool, isn't it? Busan is now headed for a new goal and destination, the 2030 World Expo. The 2030 World Expo will be taking place at a pivotal time. It may be remembered by posterity as a watershed moment in our history. That's because we are faced with unprecedented crisis. The continuing pandemic, gap between rich and poor, technological divide, and threats brought on by climate change. This calls for no less than a full scale fundamental transformation of the way we live. At the same time, we know that crises can be turned into opportunities. We want the World Expo to serve as the platform for this reason, and that's why our proposed theme is transforming our world, navigating toward a better future. Transforming our world. It refers to major innovation that goes beyond just the technology. Transformation must involve everyone, everywhere. Transforming the way we live is a formidable challenge, but necessary. Busan 2030 aims to be an expo where everyone is invited to embrace this crucial challenge. Three sub themes to help achieve this are as follows. The first is sustainable living with nature. Climate change threatens our very existence. We cannot continue current production and consumption patterns. Nature must be allowed to recover. The world must quickly transit to green, carbon neutral, circular economy. The second is technology for humanity. Technology has allowed us comfortable lives, and it will continue to do so. But it also has downsides. Technology must work for us, not the other way around. Left unchecked, the digital divide and the potential threats posed by AI and robotics will threaten humanity. Therefore, we must be alert and guide technology development and application in human-focused way. The third theme is platform for caring and sharing. The pandemic taught us that we are all connected. If everyone isn't safe, then no one is safe. At the same time, rapid globalization, extreme weather changes, and the tech paradigm shift have all accelerated polarization in our society. The world must take better care of all its members, and we must share if we are to prosper together. Another goal of Busan 2030 is to realize an expo that is open to all. We will welcome all countries and will serve as a bridge between developing and developed countries. Korea's story is one of the remarkable transformation, rising from rags to riches. Through hard work and perseverance, we learned many valuable lessons to share with the world. Along with Korea's economic status, our cultural power has grown steadily. K-pop, K-drama, almost everything with a K prefix is widely popular, especially among the younger generation. We will incorporate these cultural aspects to better connect with youth. This will facilitate greater interaction between generations. Korea, as one of the fastest countries to democratize digital technology, at Busan 2030, attendees will experience pioneering next generation communications. We will showcase a metaverse that provides another level of experience to offline events, enabling people everywhere to take part, overcoming geographical and time differences. Busan 2030 will be a truly global festival open to all. 2030 World Expo in Busan will mark the fifth innovation of Busan, transforming not only Korea but also the world. Of course, we realize that transforming the world is a bold proposal for the World Expo, and we need to be prepared. That's why Korea is already taking actions. The government has set a framework to counter climate change through measures like the Low Carbon Green Growth Act and Hydrogen Law. The latter, Hydrogen Law, is the first of its kind in the world to promote and manage hydrogen as an alternative energy source. Key industries are quickly following and making the transition to renewable energy, with 15 major corporations forming the K-Hydrogen Council. Korea is committed to going carbon neutral by 2050, and we hope to share our progress in Busan 2030. Busan is particular as at the vanguard of these efforts. To give just one example, it just joined UN Habitat to build the world's first prototype of sustainable floating cities. Think of interconnected modules off the coast of Busan, forming a village 10 times the size of a soccer field, with self-sufficient energy, water, and food. The goal is to apply technology to create a sustainable platform we can share with the rest of the world. So you see, the project embodies all three sub-themes for Busan 2030. We would love to have World Expo visitors experience this future city for themselves. Busan is also doubling down on efforts to achieve zero carbon energy self-sufficiency. This is in line with Korea's smart city policy, which may seek to apply innovative technology to solve urban problems. Busan is one of two pilot cities for this initiative, and as the Eco Delta city, it is focused on eco-friendly clean energy projects like the 200 megawatt hydrogen power plant. Thus, it is ideally positioned to serve as a platform for discussions about how to navigate the future of not only Korea, but the whole global community. We realize the magnitude of our goals and the opportunity the World Expo can give us. So our bid has the full support of the central and the regional governments, businesses, and general public. We began with launching the government-led bid planning office in November 2019 and formed the official 2030 Busan Expo bid committee in July 2021. The committee includes the CEOs of Samsung, LG, SK Hyundai Motors, and Lotte, and other representatives from Korea's public and private sectors. The Busan city government also has an independent 2030 Expo bid promotion division. Meanwhile, regular citizens are joining the efforts. Both the Busan Citizens Group and a nationwide campaign are gaining momentum. Where there is a will, there is a way. We have the will of the Korean government, businesses, and people. Together, we are channeling our collective expertise and enthusiasm into paving the way for the successful 2030 Busan World Expo. Now, if I can circle back to UN Memorial Cemetery, its grounds are a beautiful tribute to the fallen soldiers whose names are preserved in the park. Every year, on Armistice Day, November 11th, the people of Busan observe a moment of silence at 11 a.m. They stop whatever they are doing and honor the fallen heroes as well as the veterans. People also volunteer to clean the park's headstones on that day. It is a gesture that reflects how seriously Koreans take our relationship with the global community. We would not be what we are today without the sacrifice of many from around the world. We will not forget and we want to give back. In that spirit, we are determined to turn Busan 2030 into an occasion for promoting solidarity, cooperation among nations and peoples. Providing the platform for that in Busan, where 70 years ago, UN troops landed and relief items poured in from around the world will make it even more meaningful. Then and now, the United States, our ally, continues to play a crucial role on the global stage. So we need our partner, America's strong support once again. We especially look forward to the Korea society as it has always been the bridge between our two countries. You can help us create an opportunity for worldwide growth and progress. Busan is ready to open up its city to the world so that together we can strive for a greater transformation and seek a better shared future for all. Thank you. And now I'd like to leave you with a message from the mayor of Busan.
Breathtaking nature, lively attractions, colorful culture. But there's more to Busan than meets the eye. It embraced those who had lost everything in the war. Lives were rebuilt, dreams restored, and ultimately a city transformed. Today, Busan serves as a bridge to Korea's future. An international city of friendly people and gorgeous nature. It's hailed as a must-see destination for travelers in search of unique experiences. Having played a key role in driving Korea's growth into the 10th largest economy in the world, Busan is connecting the Asia-Pacific region to lead the way to an even bigger future. This city that has constantly been at the forefront of transformation is now poised to be the starting point of a new journey toward our collective future.
Hello, I'm Park Hyung-jun, Mayor of Busan. I wish we could meet in person, but I'm confident we can do so sooner than later. In 2014, we embarked on a long journey to bring the 2030 World Expo to Busan. Welcoming the global community to our city would be a dream come true for all 3.4 million citizens of Busan. And as a mayor, I promise you full and complete support to ensure the World Expo is a success. Let's start a new journey together, transforming our world, navigating toward a better future. Thank you.